Are we ready?
Yep,
Since it says 5 o'clock.
it is.
All right. The meeting will now come to order. Let's do roll call. Mr. Landwehr? Ms. Sari? Mr. Johnson?
I'm here.
Mr. Granlund?
I'm here.
Mrs. Livingston Matherly?
Here.
And Mrs. Zawicki.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The agenda was posted throughout the district according to school board policy, published as a legal ad in the Superior Telegram, posted on the district webpage, and sent to the WNXR radio station for announcement. A meeting notice was sent to the Connection for publication. We would need an approval of the April 12th, 2021 agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda. We have the March 8th, 2021 regular board meeting minutes and the March 31st, 2021 special meeting minutes, opened and executive sessions. We have our treasurer's report. Mr. Granlund.
Thank you. A summary of the treasurer's report as of March 31, 2021. In the general fund, general account, on March 31, 2021, there was a balance of $4,725,236.06 in cash and investments. Receipts since the 1st of April and not included in the March 31 balance were $12,274.22. And the disbursements from tonight's board meeting total $211,150.97. In the flexible spending account on March 31, 2021, there was a balance of $27,735.66 in cash and investments. In the health reimbursement account on March 31, 2021, there was a balance of $10,130.76 in cash and investments. In the debt service fund on March 31, 2021, there was a balance of $673.18 in cash and investments. And in the capital projects fund on March 31, 2021, there was a balance of $37,095.86 in cash and investment. And there's a way more detailed report on all these fund activities for people's review if they are interested in going into the minutia. That's the end.
Thank you. Payment of invoices. All of us have had a chance to look at those and ask questions. And then we move into resignations first. Dr. Croney.
Resignation, Wade Joe Joseph, bus driver. Retirement, Roy Martin, bus driver. He leaves us with 27 years of service. Should I move on to the employment?
Yes.
Okay. Jordan Newsom, special education teacher at IRES and then afternoons at NMS. Emily Peterson, 4K teacher at Northwestern Elementary School because Carrie Green is filling Judy Cowley's position upon Judy's retirement. Charles Nolt, this is the additional technology education teacher at Northwestern High School. Mariah Schilling, 0.5 FTE math teacher at Northwestern High School as per Ken Bartelt's resignation. Nolan Graff, elementary PE teacher at Northwestern Elementary School. Misty Radig as an elementary teacher. We're not sure which grade level. That'll be determined after the discussion about the ESSER 3 staff planning. This is a new one as of 3 p.m. today. Congratulations, Cody, is getting, he located Caitlin Rohr as a speech and language pathologist for next year. This is replacing Jessica Beckman, who's moving closer to her family. Chad Goodine as a part-time special education paraeducator, 4 days per week, 7 hours a day at Northwestern Middle School, filling a position that has been vacant. I think that's it.
Okay. I would entertain a motion then to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Approval items for tonight. First, the 2021-22 educational plan for grades 6 through 12.
Let's go through this carefully. And can everyone hear me with still having my mask on? Okay, good. The administration has been researching several options as well as interviewing companies to provide for 100% online programming for 21-22 for grades 6 through 12. Our recommendation is EduSeer and then the e-dynamic learning for CTE classes. The board has the specifics about the company, but I think it's important to go through the criteria because it's very, very important and we need the board's support on the criteria. Students that are online, they have to be online, the criteria has changed since the March draft. Student on campus 5 days a week for next year, that didn't change. But the live streaming will only happen for students and during those times that individuals or groups of students would have been quarantined. There'll be no longer live streaming by our teachers anymore for grade 6 through 12. The only online option will be provided through the third-party vendor of our choice, and that the recommendation is EduSeer and then e-dynamic learning for CTE courses, because no longer will they be allowed to take single courses. We'll get to that. I should not jump ahead. Students and families must commit to a minimum of 1 term, 9 weeks, during which the course would be required to be completed. That is a change from last month because the thinking was our term is like a semester for any other type of course. And we're allowed with EduSeer to move the deadlines since they're only taking 3 or 4 classes with the online. They move at a faster pace than those districts that have a 7-period day or an 8-period
So
day.
they would be able to complete that course in the 9
Correct.
weeks.
They'd have to be able, it's only a semester course. Yeah, because for us, 2 terms is a whole year course. Students will not be allowed to take single courses on campus. This would include band, choir, art, physical education. If they're choosing the 100% online, it's 100% and only through the vendor of our choice. That did not change from last month at all. Students must meet an eligibility criteria in order to even be online. And this criteria did not change and has been communicated to parents, I know at least in 1, if not 2, of the Tiger Paws. So students must have an attendance record of 85% or higher for the previous quarter. Student must pass or have passed all classes at the end of the previous quarter. Students must not have any referrals or consequences related to cheating and academic dishonesty during the previous quarter. Should a parent still request the student go online, a doctor's note with an explanation as to the recommendation will be required, as well as a release of information. These next ones are, as you should have it in a different color, indicating students who receive a failing grade or fail to complete a course within the required time, 9 weeks, or violate any part of the online agreement would forfeit any future eligibility to sign up for online coursework. And a mandatory meeting would be scheduled for the first week in August with a representative from EduSeer and or eDynamic Learning would provide that are providing the online service would present via video to parents who are thinking about choosing the online option. And this meeting would be required of all parents and students who would ultimately choose this option. Those who do not attend would be required to watch a recording of the presentation, and a deadline for signing up would be set to allow for appropriate choosing of courses through our Student Services Office. I know it's a lot, but you have had it ahead, so are there any questions?
I have a question on number 6.
Okay.
Students not being allowed to take single courses on campus. I think for someone doing homeschool, I think it's a state law that they're
Homeschool
allowed.
is different. We have to allow up to 2 if they're homeschooled
Up to 2
courses.
courses. Okay.
Yeah, but these are not homeschooled students.
I'm just wondering if it would disqualify some people who would maybe like be in the musical, for instance.
No,
They
I
could still be in
mean,
the
they're-
musical, but they wouldn't be here.
I don't think they
choir.
practice the musical choir numbers during class.
Okay, that'd be an after-school thing.
It's all in after school. And these kids, of course, would be allowed to come after school,
Okay,
to everything after school.
so being in the musical, it isn't a requirement to be in the choir, well,
But
in the choir.
this type of an online, they would have to forego that for the 1 year as bypassing that, because we can't do that, and it's not the student's fault that the parents are choosing that. But I hear what you're saying, that Mr. Goodlett needs to be informed that that current requirement would have to be relaxed.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Good point.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
In the beginning, it says it's a 21-22 educational plan for grades 6 through 12. Will we be seeing something similar for an educational plan for 1 through 5 at a meeting in the future?
No, because you already saw it way back in October or November when you
It's not been
approved.
updated.
You approved that we're going to keep doing our online, but the reason those teachers at IRES are now full-time is they're the ones teaching the full virtual along at the same time, live streaming at the same time that they're teaching the kids in their class. So you already approved that.
Okay, so that hasn't been updated since October.
No, because there's no need to update it. Those kids can be 100% online, and they can still be 100% involved with the kids in class.
Yep,
Yep,
that's fine.
Yep.
Thank you for the clarification.
you bet.
Mr. Landwehr?
Number 5.
Number 5.
Students and families must commit to a minimum of 1 term. Are we gonna, I hit a button here, I'm sorry. Are we going to allow those families, so if they say first quarter, first 9 weeks, I want to do online EduSeer, and then they decide, I want to be back in person second quarter, and then they decide, you know what, this really wasn't for us, third quarter, I want to go back online. Are they able to do so, and is EduSeer going to charge us a second time, or is that one time for the year?
It's one time for the 1,000, and that spot is there. Another student could take that spot, but then, let's say that second quarter person didn't want to be in, then that first quarter person could go right back in that spot. It's 1,000 per seat,
Per
whoever
spot.
sits in that seat.
So is that something, I guess, then that we are going to, the way it's written, I would expect then that we would allow somebody to be online first quarter, in-person second quarter, online third quarter, and potentially in-person fourth quarter? I mean, just speaking hypothetically,
Hypothetically,
that could happen, is
that
that
could
correct?
happen, hypothetically it
switch.
could. My guess is, what I've generally heard happen is they try it, it doesn't work for them, and they don't ever want to go back.
And it was my understanding as well that we have Educeer's giving a 7 or 10 day grace period for us before we
I
would have to
learned
commit to.
today, I just learned today, that they don't have a 7 to 10 day grace period. That's why that critical meeting,
Okay,
super important,
okay.
super duper important. I was disappointed too when I learned that today.
And then my next question, and last one as well on this part anyways, is I know this school year, there were some families that chose to do homeschool.
Oh, the Maple Online, yeah,
No. They did homeschool,
oh,
not the Maple Online, I don't think.
Okay.
And then we were still able to count those students, but we ended up paying for their curriculum at
That's-
and families could
right, but
choose
it's,
their
it's
curriculum.
called Virtual Maple. That's,
Okay.
it's a program where we pay for their curriculum. We have a teacher who's assigned for them, and that can still continue.
So that program would still continue. So
It
if
is,
certain
but that's
families decided.
different than this, that's,
It's different. That's why I'm saying it's not, that program isn't ending and then
no,
they
that
have to
program
choose
is not
this.
ending.
Okay.
Nope,
So
nope.
that still
That
could be.
captures people who normally would be homeschooled and are able to.
And then it's just a follow-up so I get clarification on what Mike had asked. Students that choose online, although they could not do single classes within the school, they can participate in all of the extracurricular activities.
Completely.
And you're saying that we would relax
We'd
we'd
have
to
to.
talk to like Mr. Goodlet
Yeah,
regarding.
I'd have to, we absolutely have to, because honestly, I didn't even, think about that until you brought that up.
And
It's
there
like,
may be more than just that, but I mean, those,
There may.
but whatever it is, that part would get relaxed in this particular instance.
In this case, it would have to.
Okay. That's,
Yep.
I got a quick question, and this is just me trying to figure it out in my head now. So what we offered before all of the pandemic and stuff, which was a kind of a neat thing for people who are homeschooling, where we would purchase the materials or whatever, and
That's
then
still happening.
they would be our student, but
Yep.
they were homeschooled. Well, I'm just, maybe this is a really stupid question, but why wouldn't we just continue to do that, and people who want to be virtually taught online just slide into that? Is it because the difference is they're getting to be in the class
Difference is credit.
or
That's
virtually in the
big, that you're having credit.
Okay.
And so we have Wisconsin certified teachers through Educeer that the curriculum has been vetted, so they're getting credit for it. Not at
Okay.
the grade 6 through 8 level, but the 9 through 12, it's super important. And that's why making sure things line up, that if you're out for a quarter, a term, you need to have gotten credit so that you slide in. Let's say you started with algebra and you did one term of algebra. It needs to match up so that when you come back, if you choose to come back, you've had the content you should have.
Okay. And are the students who, if they say, oh yeah, I'm going to do the online, are they coming virtually? Are they watching the teacher teach, or they're not?
No, that's why it's
So
true.
it is very similar.
No,
to-
it is not similar. That's why it's important for them to go to that. It's recordings. There's no place that's
Oh,
doing
but
a.
they're watching recordings.
They are
They're
watching
not doing if they're homeschooled.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
I'm trying to figure out what the specific difference, what I
There's-
mean,
there's-
so that I know why someone would pick this over this, or
Right.
other than the credit thing. But now I'm understanding.
'Kay.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
You bet.
Any other questions? I mean, silly, passing grade is a D, is that what?
Yeah,
it's
they
considered?
are passing, yeah.
Okay. Thought so, but I thought I
Yep,
better
yep,
ask.
that's best to ask.
Are there any other questions on that? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this, and should I say Edgeseer, or should I just say still at the?
Well, it's all in it. It's
The
all
edu-
in there.
The education plan.
Education plan
Alright.
has it in it.
Then I'll make a motion to approve the 21, 22, 6 through 12 education plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the education plan for grades K through, or
No.
6 through 12, sorry, for the 2021-22 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Spring sports protocol.
You have the information for the protocol for track, softball, baseball, and boys golf. Any questions? We do have Mr. Smith here. Been approved by Douglas County Health.
They all seem very, you know,
Normal.
much the same,
Yeah.
for
Shouldn't say
everyone.
normal. Nothing's normal.
and pretty much what we've been doing.
Yep.
If there are no questions, a motion, please.
Move to approve the plan.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the spring sports protocol for 2020-21. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carries. ESSER 3 staffing plan for 2021 and beyond.
We've been informed that there's ESSER 3 funds coming. The allocations are specifically supposed to address learning loss and any needs that the pandemic has surfaced, such as mental health needs. We've made some accommodations for that. The synopsis of the new positions are before you. All positions are full-time unless they're otherwise noted. Any questions about all of the positions listed? If not, I'd like Mr. Stafford to talk about one of the topics is increasing the number of teachers per grade level. So it needs space, and that's been figured out. Go ahead, Mr. Stafford.
Okay, actually, this has been looked at several times because of the space needs down there. If you remember, I believe it was in 2014 or 15, we took the boys and girls locker rooms, showers, whatever, and we made one really nice big 4K area out of that. In looking at this, there is a possibility there of two nice classrooms out of that stage area. It would come down, we would take it down to the floor level, and there is at least, if you look at both ends, one end has a elevator on. It would be really nice to get rid of that. We pay for a phone line for it. It's problematic. That would go out. On the other end, on the south end, there's more room there. So we could be looking at as much as 65 to 70 feet long times about 45 feet wide. That's enough for two classrooms that approximate what we have now. We could reuse, looks like we can reuse the stage partition, the movable partition, some part of that, so that the classrooms could be opened up, but we would want to make them identical. One and maybe both would have both water and wastewater. We know for sure we can do it in one. I've had both an architect and construction manager look at that, just like we did last year. It's a doable project. We could get that done by the start of school.
Really?
So I would, I've already talked to them. I've got them preparing a standard form of agreement. And basically, we have to get in line at the state Department of Commerce for review and permitting. We've got our name in there today, because that may take 6 to 8 weeks or longer. Just, once you have prints, you submit them, and your name comes up, you have to have them there. So that could be a couple of months out, but the project is entirely doable once school's out. and that'll give you two. I mean, the space needs down there are obvious, so.
And then Tiger's Den would be one of those two, and special ed would be the other. And that would mean then the 4 fifth grade classrooms can all be right there. But just in their same pod, just like every other one, okay? And the question that we also have to discuss tonight is the option, because there's quite a few things on our list of what would like to be done, and we don't want it to be just for 1 year. Optimally, we'd like this to be for 3 years. But one of the options would be to move 5th grade from Iron River Elementary over to NES. And then the class size would go from 26, 27 down to 22. If you did that, then there's more monies left for meeting some of these other needs, such as increasing guidance and making sure that you have the additional 4 teachers for every grade at NES for more than just, 1 year, 2 years. Trying to keep that as long as we can. The other thing is if the board does not want to do that, then we would leave 5th grade over at Iron River Elementary. It would bring the class size down to 20. But the concern is sometimes at Iron River, by the time they are 5th graders, there's a readiness for more friends. There's a readiness to expand a little. And the transportation, of course, would be there both ways. Allowing kids to have, I guess you could say, a comfort level with the other kids before it turns into 6th grade. And then that would be the first time that they're, with a new group of kids. This way they'd be with the kids a year earlier. Now, we did do this 2 years ago, I think, or was it? Yeah, because it wasn't this year. No, maybe it was just last year. Was it 20?
I don't remember.
Was it 19?
It was last year.
It was just thank you. It was just last year. And when I did call every one of those parents, they were frankly thrilled to death because they liked the idea of getting some friends. There was one parent that was just concerned, just fearful, but after it did happen, that particular parent was, happy that it really was a good thing for her child. So anyway, those are things the board has to decide. We'll do it either way, but the cost of one less position is about $70,000. You have the costing right in front of you. I guess it's $74,000. Is what the figure could spread a little further for some of those other needs.
Okay. I have a question. What would we do if we had online 5th graders?
Good question. Online 5th grade then would go to EduSeer, just like other grades 6 through 12 are, because we cannot ask that of our teachers at that grade level. We made a commitment that we would not be doing that. Thank you for asking
And
that.
how many 5th graders are?
Right now, it's either 9 or 10.
I think it says 12 in this packet here.
Today, but
That's from
today I thought, Mr. Larrabee, you had said 10, I thought today, right? You have 10 as of today.
Are any online now?
Did you hear the question? Oh, you're looking, okay.
Okay. And I understand, of course, that could change.
It could change if
But
vaccine,
it's worth noting, I
Yeah.
think, that we
Correct.
have been comfortable with that.
right. And that would be district-wide though, because,
Mhm.
not all are from Iron River that want to be online.
Okay.
So-
Questions, comments? I would just like to add Northwestern Elementary was designed for 4 sections of each grade level, and over the course of the years, as class sizes and numbers change, some of those rooms have been taken up so that there might be only 3 fifth grades, and then we needed a room for Tiger's Den, another special ed room, because special ed is always increasing, it seems like. And so those rooms are no longer available. 4K was added since that school was built.
Right.
And
And we have 2 4K rooms.
so that just kind of gives background of why we're short of space there. And why adding a 5th grade back becomes an issue without some remodeling.
Right.
We didn't talk about a cost for that, or did I not hear it?
We won't know the cost yet, but we do know that ESSER 3 funds can be used for that.
Okay, okay.
Question.
Yeah.
The stage area at NES is currently being used, I
For
believe,
special ed,
by special ed.
that's correct.
So where would that activity be taking place then?
There's going to be 2 classrooms. One could be Tiger's Den and one could be that.
Okay, they're
Mhm.
there now, though, you're saying.
Right now, they're using it, and
Right, I
they
realize.
don't need as much space. I did a meeting with Mr. Larrabee and the CODA, who was using that. CODA stands for Certified Occupational Therapist Assistant, I think. Anyway, and she didn't feel she needed, in fact, she was fine with only a third of the space, but Mr. Stafford clearly likes the idea, and I'm way fine with it, making it even, because we don't know what the future needs are going to be. I mean, it's better to make it even, Steven, and he could get water and wastewater in both of them. I thought that was super.
So then that would render that audio-visual area in the opposite room up there available for maybe Mr. Larabee's office or something.
Oh,
Well, I have
Nice
a
thought.
question
I
on
was
the
gonna-
Iron River. Are we going to be deciding that tonight, the Iron River?
I just need because I don't need to post for a 5th grade
Okay,
if indeed you are okay with that. I did speak with Michelle Paulus and said, if you would like to still stay at Iron River, you could have the 4th grade position. And if you want to go back to Iron River, it would be 22 kids rather than 26 or 27 if that entices you to stay. You can have either one you want if the board chooses that. Or if the board says, no, we're not going to do that, then you're 5th grade, you're there. And she said, can I have time to think about it? I said, absolutely. We don't have to post it tomorrow. We don't. But the concern is there's 2,600 unfilled positions that we're being told are going to be coming. And the early bird catches the worm here. So I want to make sure that if we indeed are going to be fortunate to have 4 classrooms, let's get moving and get the best teachers.
So I know you probably, I'm sorry, you probably said this earlier, sorry. Oh, can you hear me? I know you probably mentioned this earlier, but can you remind me, how many do we have in Iron River that are going to be moving into that 5th grade slot?
There would be 10.
10,
10.
okay.
So that it would be able to be spread out between 4 teachers. And so it would drop the numbers from either 26, 27 down to 22.
Got it, okay.
Okay.
And then it would alleviate that 5th grade teacher needing to stay.
You
in
got it.
Iron River.
You
Okay.
got it now.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Or you say, no, we're going to spend the 74,000. We're just not going to get as far on this list, and we're going to have 10 over at Iron River, and we would hire a whole nother teacher, and then we'll end up with 20 at NES.
Mr. Landwehr.
Just to make sure that the stage at NES we would only be taking on the cafeteria side, is that correct? The stage itself from the gym side, is that still going to be retained?
No.
All of that goes away. So the stage from the current stage, that like the Christmas program that's currently being held on there, that stage is gone?
That stage is gone. Take that down to the floor, that gives you the extra width. If you stand inside, it's 30 feet from the partition on the gym side to the other side, okay?
They could do
That, taking it lends itself better to take it's only about 9 feet wide on the gym side. You take that down to floor level too, then the total width gives you enough width so that times the 60 to 70 feet we're gonna get lengthwise approximates 2 full classrooms, just like we already have. I mean, I don't see a need to leave that there. It would be more of a problem to leave it than to take it down. So then what we would do, where that is, in other words, where that foundation is, whatever's there, we would go up and then angle up to meet the main part. If you want to stop down there sometime, you can take a look at that. But we would basically take down the whole works right down to the floor level.
Okay.
It doesn't lend itself to doing anything else.
Right, no, I understand what you're doing there. Do you know how much or how often that stage is being used? Not on the cafeteria
Christmas
side?
program is about it.
That's about it?
But then we can have risers, and the kids can be up on the
Right, no, I understand.
risers behind the regular, actual leveled risers, just like they've done before. They have.
Yes, those will all be gone. You have no other options, and then you ask for more
No,
space.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't need to keep something for one program, I mean, this
And-
would be used all.
And because we haven't voted yet, you have not reached out to any current fourth graders at IRES that are going into fifth
I
grade?
did for Rachel, out of courtesy, she's a board member, and she is directly affected. So I did reach out to Rachel, nobody else.
All right, I just, because a number of years ago, last year, wasn't there 6?
There were 5,
There were 5.
and they were all thrilled except for the one that was scared, but
Right,
still.
I don't want to, I get saving the money, I mean, I am all for that, being fiscally responsible as far as that goes. I'm concerned that if there are indeed 10, that could be a classroom in Iron River getting used, and you have then a quality education. I'm not saying you're going to get a less quality education by going to 22 at, moving them across. At 5, I can see it. At 10, I'm a little bit on the fence. If there are indeed 5 that are going to stay on the online option, and now you're dealing with 5, I think that becomes a different conversation. But with the numbers 10, I have some reservations regarding that.
Are you thinking that we need to reach out and ask parents or not?
Well, I mean, I also
mean, I
get
don't
the
know how
early
else
bird
we
gets
would
the
know.
worm.
That's, I'm
I mean,
trying to.
And I completely get that. I
Okay.
do. I mean, I understand it 100%. I'm just, at 10, I kind of like that's on the low end of a classroom, but it's still a classroom. If you end up getting a couple people that move, now you're at 12 or 13. Now,
Or 8 or
or
5,
8.
or
Yeah,
you
or
just
they
don't
leave at
know.
8.
Well,
You
that's
don't
the whole
know.
hard part. Last year, it started at 9 and it went down to 5, and it was summer, and we had to do something.
Right.
And so that's where I did reach out. But the concern was back then, would we have stopped and said, no, we're not going to do it if it's just one person who's concerned? I mean, the
Right.
board has to weigh everything, just like we're all weighing everything. And at this point, when we look at the list of needs, it includes the additional teachers, it includes hiring reading support, and adding a .5 guidance counselor at the elementary to help teach classes so that Kara is freed up. It also includes a full guidance counselor at the high school level. It has the student support center for 5.75 hours per day. I mean, there's a lot in this plan, and how far we can allow it to work will be dependent on how far we can stretch it. So for example, if someone chooses to not take health insurance, wow,
Freeze up.
there's,
And the same thing with the fifth grade teacher. I completely understand it. I mean, I'm all for having 4 teachers at NES. I'm all for everything on here. I mean, we've had this conversation. I don't disagree with any of it. And maybe I was incorrect in thinking. I thought we were less than 10
and
at Iron
and
River.
I thought we were at 9, but I learned today we were at 10.
10. So I'm not sure what I'm saying I want or
Yeah, and-
necessarily.
and-
I'm concerned at that 10. That's 10 families that are now moving.
Unless they're as happy as a year ago when I contacted, those were delightful conversations where the parents were like, oh goodness, they're so ready. It's this brother, sister, brother kind of mentality. They've been together since 4K, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
They're so ready to have someone other than just those same 10 kids, because if one person is on the outs, then where's the other friends to even choose?
From a social aspect, I completely understand it. I'm not in disagreement with the pros, and I'm not in disagreement over the cons either. It's just I think that's one of them balancing things that we kind of have to look at.
How many kids do we have in how many kids do we have in Iron River that are in 3rd that are moving into 4th? I'm just curious of numbers with some of the lower grades too.
Mr. Larrabee? He's
Sorry,
looking
don't
it
mean to
up.
put you on the spot like that. Okay.
So this is not an option for the
Right,
fall.
I was
Nope.
just curious as
Yep.
to what we're looking at as
Right.
far as, okay,
Right.
thank you.
And there's a year there where there's 59 kids. I mean, it goes all over.
Yeah, it's really, noticing those numbers.
You notice
are
those numbers?
really
Yeah, kitty
and down.
wampus. And then there were 2 that made it online, so it's a total of 61. So, I mean, we have to look every year at those.
I have an FYI. At least 3 of those 4th graders do not live in Iron River. They live in Brule. That I
Oh.
personally know. So as far as the locality, living, a lot of times the people in Brule would rather go to NES for logistical reasons. But I know at least 3 4th grade kids at Iron River that live in Brule.
Interesting. So now that drops it down, that's even less of a drive for them, because we certainly, would take that into account. They're not going to go backwards, just.
I know, I have talked to grown-ups who have talked about how difficult that transition that went to school in Iron River and then coming into the middle school is very hard for them because they haven't been a part of everyone else that's there. So this could be an opportunity for like social growth before they go and they have to experience the changes of middle school as well. But I'm just thinking out loud that way. I feel like we should probably talk to parents and see where they're at on this. I mean, if we have parents that say, I like this idea, then I think we should go for it. If they're really truly against it, then, or another conversation is, are you thinking you're going to be online next year or back in school? Because that's half of the class right now.
If you want us to wait on this, then we will not post it, and we will pause. But the concern I've got on pausing is that's a whole month of prime hiring time. That's a concern I've got. And let's say, I'm just being hypothetical, let's say 2 of the parents are opposed, and the other 8 are in favor. Are you going to stop it because of 2? I mean, I'm trying to ask.
Right. I also wonder if, and I guess I'm just going to ask this, and maybe you can't, but can we approve this, everything but that 5th grade teacher?
Yes,
So we can approve that so that can get started?
yep,
Can then we ask you to reach out to those current
Yes.
4th grade parents? And can we have, because I know we've done in the past, you've called us individually and asked us where we were at on those, on a particular item. And if you had consensus from us,
I could,
is that even possible?
you could do a conditional motion. You could say, everything else is approved, and then do a separate motion on 5th grade, conditional upon X, Y, Z. Let's say conditional upon 80% of the families being in favor of it, we would proceed. Then it would mean that if 2 said no, it still proceeds. And you could set that at whatever you want to set it at.
And I think that same conversation then with parents would need to be, if we move your children to NES in 5th grade, you're no longer, if you're choosing to do online, you're no longer doing it in the format in
Right.
which we presented, being
Right,
with the current teacher in 5th grade. You're now going to end up moving to the Eduseer program.
correct. And
That may change some of those parents that are currently online to enroll their children in school, or vice versa.
or vice versa, right.
So I
But a
would,
conditional motion then would allow us, as long as I've gotten the verbiage, from each person after
Right.
calling, did we meet the threshold, did we not meet the threshold, and then I know whether I can post or not.
I guess I would, that gives you an opportunity to start
Sure.
on
It does,
most all
I have
this
a
except for the
question,
one.
Dr. Coney.
yes.
If we, am I up?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay, if we put a conditional motion together and we put an 80% thing, then we're locked into that also, barring any other conditions that might come up. So can we just do it and not put a specific, percentage on there? Because just say, upon board approval in the next meeting or something.
And then we wait until May 10th, and we wait on the posting until May 11th.
Yeah, I'm just afraid if we say, okay, 80% of the parents, well, then the parents are going to have to vote, and we're going to have to, I mean, what if something else changes and it's 77% or some crazy thing? I don't know.
You're concerned about a hard line in the sand.
Yes.
So
Mary.
then could we go with Adam's idea and have you call each of us and just give you a verbal consensus that way? Because I agree, waiting till the next board meeting, I don't like that timeline for trying to hire somebody.
I'm not comfortable with violating any open meetings law, anything. That's why I'd appreciate a motion in open session that we know where we're coming from. When I call you and try to get an answer, it's on a different topic, not hiring. And this is hiring, okay? It's usually just to call you and tell you of an issue that happened, so that you've been apprised.
Can't we just have a special meeting a week from now, or,
We could do whatever the board wants to do.
I mean, that wouldn't be, then you wouldn't lose a month.
No, I wouldn't lose a month, because I'd be making these phone calls and have them done before the week is out.
And then you really wouldn't have to have a line in the sand.
No,
You could just
just
report to
report
us what
I learned.
what you've learned.
Yep.
What does the board feel about
But
that? It
let's
would
not
mean a-
lose
a-
3 more days of posting. Let's do all, and let's just not table, but just pause on 5th grade.
And that, it would mean a special meeting. It wouldn't be long, I
It
don't
would.
think.
It wouldn't be long, no, because I'll just tell you what happened.
Mhm.
Be okay with
Okay,
Yeah, I think I would like that information.
okay,
So
done.
that
And I will make those,
we know
all
how
of those.
parents are
I
feeling.
don't have to call you again, because we've already chatted. Unless you want me to
right.
call you again, I'll call you.
Are there any other comments or questions about this ESSER 3 plan?
That ESSER 3 doesn't have to be used in 1 year.
No, that's
We
the
can
whole
take that
point.
money and use it however we want for as long as we want.
Want to stretch that out. And
Well,
that's the whole.
there are, there's parameters,
Yeah.
not however we want.
No,
but-
it,
Yeah,
no.
no. I mean, it's not
3
like,
years.
it's not like you have to end up having it gone in
No,
the first fiscal year
No,
that you
three,
receive or anything
three
like that.
fiscal years you'd have it
Okay.
gone. But that, I want to get that far. That's,
Right, no, I get it, I
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Right, and the funds are designed to help, children who have fallen behind,
That's
basically.
correct. That's
That's
correct.
what they need to be
That's
used
what
for.
they
And
need
if
to
that
be-
means you have to create like additional space, like we're talking
Yep.
about, to lower class sizes, that's acceptable.
That is acceptable.
I've got a question. The funding for this under ESSER is coming to the state first. And is that to the state, to the governor?
I
to
can answer that.
DPI or?
Okay, the way that works is, the feds say that the state has to give us 90% of that money directly to the LEAs, okay? There's a 10% holdback that's up to the discretion of the state as to how they want to distribute it. That's why they're wrangling at Madison right now over how much to let that holdback money go to some of those schools that would have gotten it. They call it gear money. It's the governor's special money. So, but we're guaranteed, we already spent one. That was $126,000. We spent all that on COVID, all the COVID stuff. Okay, there's ESSER 2, we're guaranteed $512,843. Okay, that, we haven't spent any of that. Well, we spent some on Chromebooks, 330 Chromebooks and a few other things. But we've got quite a bit of that left to spend. Now, the state's saying that our allocation right now is $600,000 for ESSER 3. But that's still in Joint Finance Committee. But that looks like what we're gonna get. That was put out by the state's,
Fiscal Bureau.
Fiscal Bureau, yeah. So this is guaranteed money that's supposed to come right to us.
Well, if it wasn't the amount that we're expecting, it still would be enough for next year.
Oh, absolutely,
Yes.
yes. Right, because
So
we had
we've
been
got-
expecting a
We've
million.
got 1.1 million we haven't claimed yet. Okay, if you count what they're telling us we're gonna get for ESSER 3, which is the 600,000.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we just need a motion
Are we
on
ready for a motion?
all but the 5th grade for this time.
I can try to word it here, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and move forward with hiring for all of the positions, except we will table grade 5 position until
Special board meeting.
special board meeting.
You got it.
More information is provided.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll
That's my motion.
second.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ESSER 3 staffing plan for the 2021 and beyond, with the exception of the 5th grade position, and which
Sure.
we'll consider later.
Correct.
All right, this is going to be a roll call vote. So, Mrs. Zawicki?
Yes.
Mr. Granlund?
Yes.
Mrs. Livingston Matherly?
Yes,
Mrs. Ari? Mr. Landwehr? And I vote yes.
Okay.
Motion carries.
Mr. Johnson says yes
Oh,
also.
I'm sorry. See, if I don't see you, I forget you.
He's not going to get left behind. There
All
we
right.
go.
Motion carries.
All right.
Summer school course offerings for 2020-21. I know we have them listed in our packets,
So we just need a motion to approve.
as well as what ages they're for, and
I'll make motion.
Question. The grade, when it says grades 9 through 12, that would be next year's 9 through 12.
Yes.
Correct, thank you.
Well, wait. Let me check
yeah,
for
I
sure.
believe so.
Is that how?
I think,
Ms. Craig, where are you?
yes.
Is that a yes? Okay, it's a yes. Okay.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the summer school course offerings coming up. All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
The reason I was questioning that is that summer school fiscally is still in the 2021.
Can be a little
Correct.
confusing.
Yeah, but as soon as they hit that June 8th, they become a 9th grader. Yep,
Yes,
got it.
and they're not going to say they're an 8th
No,
grader
no,
anymore.
heaven forbid. Got it.
All right, moving on. Revision of the sick leave incentive benefit.
Correct. This plan was implemented as an incentive for employees to save their sick leave and facilitate a reduction in the cost of substitutes. It was not meant to be used strictly as a retirement plan. So therefore, we've removed the word retirement from the new verbiage we want to make sure gets put in the employee handbook. And we added no mid-year separations would be allowed and still be able to get the funding. Instead, the district must be notified by July 1 that the person is separating from the district. That way it gives us an opportunity to hire a replacement, and that's a fair way. We're giving quite a bit in funding, and we want to give it to them. They certainly happy to pay out for their sick leave, but we can't be harmed in the meantime in being left in arrears for finding a replacement. So that's what we're asking.
It still says upon retirement here. Is it okay there?
And that is, it really should say in sick leave incentive program, and that's any place where there was retirement, we're going to be removing that.
Okay, because I notice it's up here as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have to
So,
look.
because it'll be for separation, not,
Question,
yes.
has it been effective?
I don't know
I don't
if we can judge that yet or not, because this has been the most
The
bizarre
problem with
year.
that is COVID hit us.
This is,
Yeah,
how
it's
do you
pretty hard to
separate?
compare.
We did not get a full year of normal
Yeah.
attendance to
Yeah.
judge that yet.
We really didn't, so. And when people are out, sometimes they're out because of COVID. I mean, it's not like they were in any way, shape, or form. It's hard, Mr. Granlund, right now to answer that.
I'll accept that.
Okay. Okay, so this is what we need approved for the employee handbook.
Do we have a motion?
Sick leave incentive. There we go.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to approve the revisions of the sick leave incentive benefit. This will also be a roll call vote because it's money. Mr. Landwehr?
Can I ask a
Sorry.
question first? I apologize. If a, and I'm only going to ask this question because when I was in school, I had a handful of teachers that retired mid-year. I don't know if that's because they're just 30 years came up or whatever they decided to.
Wow, they left you mid-year.
They left, yeah, like they, Christmas break, they taught, and then they retired over Christmas break and didn't come back.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Was it you, Adam? Is that why?
you were the
Well, that, yeah, very well could have been me. I guess I just wonder, and maybe, no, I'm not even going to ask.
I'm not okay with that.
Yes.
We.
No. What I was going to ask was, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay,
okay.
so we have a motion and a second to approve the revisions of as we have in front of us, the sick leave incentive benefit. So, Mr. Landwehr?
Yes.
Sorry. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Livingston Matherly?
Yes.
Mr. Granlund?
Yes,
Mrs. Zawicki?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. Item F, school bus driver. Open negotiations, wage incentive for drivers and contracts for the 2021-22 school year.
Right, we are requesting that administration be given the authority to negotiate the items as per addendum A for school bus drivers and to approve their 21-22 bus driver contracts as per the addendum, because then we don't have to wait until May in order to get those out.
Did you reach out to the union prior to? Are
Yes,
we-
the
are we
meeting is set
scheduled?
for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
And so that would be you and Mr. Granlund and who's the other?
Mr.
And Mr. Johnson, cool,
Johnson.
okay, yeah. Okay, that's it.
So we need a motion to open negotiations.
Yes, and to approve the bus driver contract, so you can do
I
it.
so move.
Oh, done.
We have the motion. Do we have a
I'll
second?
make a second, but I just wanted to comment that it's kind of been the elephant in the room for a long time, bus driving, not just here, but nationwide. There's been great difficulty and I think there's fierce competition for bus drivers right now. And I think this would go a long way towards retaining our bus drivers, maybe some of those that were going to retire might change their mind. And, it's a critical problem. You got to get the kids to school.
Yeah,
So I second the motion.
Thank you, Mr.
it is
Brandon.
a critical problem. All right, we have a motion and a second to open negotiations and approve contracts for the bus drivers for the 2021-22 school year. This will also be a roll call vote. Mr. Landwehr,
Yes.
Ms. Sari, Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Livingston Matherly,
Yes.
Mr. Granlund?
Yes,
Mrs. Zawicki?
Yes.
And I vote yes, that motion carries. Item G is the board goals for the 2021-22 school year. We have a draft in front of us. And these are directly as a result of our board retreat where we worked on this.
Correct. Apologize, I'm not seeming to find my copy of it. Do you have yours?
I
Thank
do.
you very much. Okay. To increase student achievement, continue to find courses to work as college credit. We would be implementing our AP Social Studies in 22-23. The teacher gets trained summer of 21. We would implement the new social studies curriculum K through 12. Number 2, mental health support for students. As per the ESSER 3 funds, adding a 1.5 FTE for guidance counselors, it makes huge strides towards your board goal with that. Continued improvement in technology as it is ever changing, managing in-person and online learning in the future and beyond, meshing classroom technology with curriculum, training for staff, and broadband access. And the half-time 0.5 FTE technology coordinator and coach position certainly gets at your board goal for that. Attract and retain high-quality instructors and support staff, condensing the teacher salary schedule, and increasing hourly rates for support staff is the first on that list to start addressing as early as next year to start those conversations. Utilize programs, i.e. the STEP retiree program, advertise and revise the pay, and maintain bus driving staff. We're working on that goal like tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Number 5, building and grounds facilities management plan. Board members should tour all the facilities, building and grounds planning and funding, and working on a 5-year maintenance plan. Thank you very much. Any questions on this is what you guys decided. This was your votes of what came forward.
the board members tour all facilities. Would that be an organized tour?
Yes, it would
with-
be an organized tour. Correct.
This is a 3-year plan, correct? Is that what this is, or is this a 5-year plan?
Takes us for 4 years, so it takes us up to 2025. But what we want to do is get started on it now.
Right, no,
Yeah,
no, I get it. I
yeah,
can remember
Yeah,
how many year it was.
yes. And each year, we always tweak. We do some tweaking. If something got accomplished, then we move forward on something else. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
Good question.
good goals.
Yeah, you guys did do a
think.
good job.
Mhm. Do we have a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the board goals as read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to our administrative report, Dr. Crony, Communications.
Yes. A thank you from Jane Pangrack. Thank you to everyone for the wonderful card. Your words of support are so appreciated. Thank you for the donation in Joy Anderson's honor. Your thoughtfulness and generosity are much appreciated by the entire family. Donations are being shared between two organizations my mother supported. Disabled American Veterans of Wisconsin and Boys Town. I am so appreciative of your generosity. Thank you, Jane Pangrack. Then there's a correspondence from Senator Janet Bewley on the TEACH grant supporting increased technology infrastructure. You have your invitation for tonight's 7 p.m. National Honor Society induction ceremony. Bid sheet for the building construction house. Correspondence from the Wisconsin High School Forensics Association on the middle school level speech team, placing 7 participants in the excellence honors and 1 in the merit honors. And then the email from Bulow veteran Bulkma, Olson, and Lent regarding Governor Evers' March 26th Wisconsin Act 18, stating that for the 21-22 school year only, DPI will allow open enrolled students to take our 100% virtual option from whatever school that they open enrolled into. Because at first we had heard no, they were going to have to go to charter if they were going
Right,
to do it at all.
It was emphatic last month.
Pardon?
It was emphatic
Yes.
last month, but now it's.
Now they changed and are allowing us to, because there are many reasons why parents are choosing to be with us, but one of them may certainly be that they want to partake in our virtual option, and at grades K through 4, for sure, that's still 100% live streaming, not at the other grade levels. Did you want me to move on to?
I think you may as well.
Tiger's
Yes.
Den report is in your packets, and we have Casey Alexson. Wave your hand. There's, okay. She's here for any questions the board may have.
Just a comment, to be able to still operate in the black when you were closed for 3 months and low enrollment at the height of the pandemic. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Casey if the changes, the physical changes at the NES will be okay. Thumbs up.
Kip? Okay.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right. Then we have the school board election results.
Right.
in
You
front
have
of
those at your table. I think this is the appropriate time peg to point out that Rachel, with our gratitude, will keep her plaque, and we had Tiger Manufacturing engrave on the back, thanking her for her service and the years of her service for the students. Adam, you said you wanted to say something specifically. Thank you.
I did. I just wanted to say thank you. 3 years ago, we ran unopposed, so nobody else was, I think, passionate about wanting to do this at that time, and you stepped up and did it, and it wasn't easy then, it wasn't easy now, so I just wanted to say 3 years went by pretty quick, but thank you for, at the time, stepping forward and representing who needed to be represented, so thanks.
You can say you were in the board during this pandemic. All right, we have maintenance updates for all of our buildings. If you have any questions, Mr. Stafford is here.
One thing to add, planning for replacing the NES roof is on the radar.
Yeah.
It has reached the end of its life, so probably for sure next year project. But it's gonna take some planning and
Okay.
Replacement.
replacement. It's reached the end of its, near the end of its life now, so.
No, the NES
The
roof.
roof, the roof.
Oh, the roof, yeah, yeah, we've been talking about that for a while.
Yep.
Knowing, yeah, knowing that it's coming. How old is that building now? Does anyone know?
Oh,
Which building?
97, 98 is the age of the NES? Okay.
Yeah, it's not as young as we think.
Right, right. So then it would have been built, okay. Okay.
Donations?
Donations. Northwestern Elementary School received 15 handmade student masks from Jeanette Rantala of Lake Nebagaman and 80 handmade student masks from Vicki Good. Vicki Good has donated 469 handmade student masks to NES to date. Wow.
Wow. That's a lot. Thank you. WASB correspondence and legislative report. I know you're dying to give one more report, Mrs. Sawicki.
So nothing really on the report end, but I do want to take this opportunity to just say that in addition to, this report out, another really important piece of being that delegate is what we do at the delegate assembly every year, where we represent our district, we get to speak on behalf of our district, vote on important things. And so with me leaving this position, somebody needs to fill that. So if anybody has any questions about what it's like or what we do or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm really happy to talk you through it. Please extend this to Sherry if she's not hearing this right now, because I did it my first year, so it can be done your first year, But yeah, it's been really cool. It's been an honor, and just don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything.
Thank you.
Thank you. CISA 12 report, Ms. Sari?
I believe we have found a new administrator for the CISA 12, just prior to getting it approved by the Board of Control. So looking forward to the new person coming in and what changes and upgrades we can do for other schools in our CISA 12.
Thank you. Student, staff, and community recognition.
A list of Northwestern High School NWMA all-conference band honorees and Northwestern Middle School NWMA all-conference band honorees is attached to the agenda.
Very nice. That's a long list. We have reports from all of our schools, as well as our Director of Special Ed and our Athletic and Activities Coordinator, enclosed in our packets. And at this point, we would love to hear from our student reps, Trent and Lucy.
Hello. Currently, there are no ongoing sports seasons due to the change in spring sports schedules with COVID. Although athletes have been attending captain's practices for the last couple of weeks, the first official practice for all spring sports is next Monday, April 19th. In the meantime, other student athletes have been participating in a strength and conditioning program held after school. This is similar to the summer weights program that has shown impressive results in improving our athletes. We're all looking forward to the upcoming compressed spring sports season and what it holds.
All right. Solo and ensemble looks a little different this year as everything was virtual. Students interested recorded their solos, duets, or small group pieces and were turned in for competition. Several individuals, as well as the high school chamber choir, show choir, and several band members and groups performed for competition. Both band and choir recorded pieces for large group competition, and each group received a 1. The National Honor Society is holding their induction ceremony tonight for students with high academic successes. Prom is just around the corner. Because of everything this year, we are unable to have a dance. However, there will be a grand march on the football field. Each student or students will be introduced, and following that will be the crowning of a junior and senior court this year, due to the fact that the senior class never got a chance to have their prom court. Senior prom court consists of Nikita Chukaro, Dylan Ronke, Grant Ogren, Harrison Nelson, Tegan Bartelt, Kylie Benish, Claire Brinker, Allison Loma, Kendall Sutton, and Miranda Wakefield. And junior prom court consists of Preston Brilla, John Groen, Nick Makala, Cole Paulson, CJ Thompson, Sydney Anderson, Autumn Askham, Livia Carlson, Maddie Gensel, and Ruby Moore. Link Crew is beginning to recruit new members for the 2021-22 school year. Interested sophomores and juniors are encouraged to fill out their application and get teacher recommendations and support. There was a meeting for that today where interested students got the opportunity to ask questions and get more information, and current leaders were there to answer those questions and share their experience. And this month, the current Link Crew leaders are focusing on mental health. Last week, Link Crew met with their freshmen to talk about the quarter ending and check in with how they're all doing. And they are also currently planning another bonding event for the leaders themselves to check in with one another and continue to plan new events for the final quarter of the school year.
Thank you very much. And here I thought this was a little downtime between you, but it didn't sound like it. Really crossing my fingers for a good day for your grand march
Yes, yes.
when it's outside as is. All right, comments from the audience tonight. I don't have my little thing to read. Do we have any comments tonight? Seeing none? Okay. Consideration for an executive session is necessary for those items exempted under open sessions according to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85, parentheses 1, C, E, and F. Included under these items are the annual evaluation of the superintendent. We would need a motion to move to executive session. We have a motion and a second to move to executive session, and we will take a roll call vote. Mrs. Zawicki?
Yes.
Mr. Granlund? Yes. Mrs. Livingston Matherly?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Sari? Mr. Landwehr? And I vote yes. Motion carries. Now I would need a motion to adjourn the open session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.